Right, today we've got a evaporator change in a polar prep table. And this one's got two doors and two drawers. I've not done one with drawers before, but I've still got stuff in there. It's going to be fun. Anyway, get the grill off the back and then we can start taking the gas out, what's left in there. Okay, got the recovery bottle on there with a vacuum in it, and I think it's going to pretty much just down to zero, it's down to a slight vacuum. I think it's pretty much going to pull it all out just with the vacuum that's in the bottle, so there's very little left in it. Okay, so we've just got these drawer runners. I might put a pen mark where they are so I can put them back in the same place. They've got to come out. This little piece has got to come out. Cut the screws for the temperature sensor. That side rail comes out, this side rail comes out. I think there might be a couple of screws holding this front panel on, and then we're into where the evaporator is. Two up the top. I think there might be some down the bottom. And then you can see through there, that white piece is foam insulation. It's supposed to be stuck to the side here, inside, to stop the airflow getting in between the coil and the sheet, but they always fall off. Well, always, it's quite common, and it drops down and blocks the airflow up. Anyway, get all this took apart. Right, good thing with the replacement evaporators is they come with the stubs to get you outside. They just join the capillary with this little bit of tube here. So just use your cable cutters. We're going to cut that off long enough. We've got something to get hold of and pull that out, and the same with this. Put some tape over those while we get that all disconnected. Okay, we've got that loose. The top piece catches on there, but you can get the bottom of it out first. I've moved the grommet on the cable so we can push a bit more of that through, because we've got a defrost heater, fans and the sensors all come through that little gap, so you have to get that out, get the heater off, and then there's very fiddly, there's a couple of nuts and bolts on each end holding the top cowling on for the fan, which I expect in the factory they just put the whole thing up, pulled all the wires through and then joined it, because it's got these plugs on it, but I usually try and leave this piece in if you can. Just want to make a note where things are cable tied, like that's tied there. The temperature sensor for the coil is, I've marked it with a pen, is poked in those fins there, so you want to be able to put them back in the same place. Same with these clips, you want to know where they go roughly. Just about reaching. Can't be far off. There we go. That's what I was using. It's a Beta 142 SN 7mm with a flexible ratcheting end. Right, that coil, I've got to get the heater off and then the coil will come out. Okay, that's a new coil, comes with these stubs which you get through the wall. We've got to put the heater on, and then there's this sticky back plastic, goes down the back of the coil, and then where you have to cut it off because it's stuck over here, I just put some arm flex tape down. Okay, we've got those clips in there, and we just got to put that sticky back on there, covers the coil, and then probably put a bit of arm flex tape down each side just to hold it in place. I mean, it's sticky anyway, but it's not got a lot to stick to on the fins. And then we'll probably put some arm flex tape the other side to replace that other piece that fell off. Okay, we've got that back in there. I usually put these bolts in through the other way with a nut on the bottom. I find they're easier to do up that way. Got the sensor back in. So anyway, we're going to get the pipe work done, then we can, while it's vacuum, we can put that back together. So, new dryer, that's what I've got on the van. So that'll fit in there, I think. Have to be out a bit more of an angle, but got plenty on that to play with. The only trouble with this is silver soldered it in, so I don't want to silver solder it, so we'll have to go a bit further back. So it's just copper. It's a copper stub. Why they've silver soldered that, I don't know. If it's copper to copper, you just use normal rods. Okay, I've got that brazed in. We've blown a bit of nitrogen through there before we brazed it. You don't always need flow of nitrogen. I mean, if you can go ahead with it, but really what you're looking to do is push any oxygen out of the pipe so that when you heat it up you don't get any of that copper oxide inside. So if that's full of if you've purged nitrogen through, unless there's some other flow so that nitrogen comes out and air goes in, it should stay okay. Even if it's got a bit of refrigerant vapor in there and nothing else, you won't get any oxides, although you might get some burnt oil or something like that in there. But that's all you're looking to do when you're purging, is displace the oxygen so you don't get copper oxide. It's the same sort of powder you get on the outside when you braze. It's just the top surface of copper goes into a powder. Anyway, that's what I was told on a air conditioning course. You can purge everything, but when you get to that last joint that you can't have any flow in it, not to worry, so long as you've pushed all the air out of the pipe before you started. Anyway, that needs a cable tie on there or two. And that needs to just tweak around so it's not going to rub. I might cable tie that to that. Previously that was wrapped around the old dryer, but it was had a shorter stub on it, so, and that's rock hard where it's been vibrating for 3 or 4 years. I don't know how old this thing is. Ruler. I don't even know if it's got a date on it. Just cut that. It's always a good sign. It's been in there from the factory. Okay, it's got those two done. With the capillary, you want to poke it in don't want to go too far because it could butt against the other one, and there's such a small hole. If they're out of line, it could block the hole up between the two. So you want a gap, but you want it far enough in that when you braze it, the braze doesn't run up and then go back up and fill the hole up. So yeah, you probably want that. You probably want them to about there, and then have like a quarter-inch gap in the middle. That's that done. Got a new dryer. Done those. So pressure test it and vacuum it, and while we're doing that, we can start putting all the panels back on the evaporator. Okay, we've got the cover back on and the runners for the shelves, just about where we can put the shelving back in. Or the drawers rather. You have to get all the screws in really loose and then try and position these, because they're not, the holes are so big, they don't, like something better made, but it'd be that accurate. You just put the screw in there and that would fit in the right place. But there's so much adjustment on them. I mean, even now we might find that one of these runners is running level and the other one on this side's going like that or like that, so we might even have to loosen these off and play with it. I probably should have put some more pen marks around these edges just to have got them put back as they were. When they've got just normal shelving in, like over there, all you get is the shelving just totters like that, and you can adjust it a bit easier. Then, you could loosen all the screws off with shelving in there. But anyway, enough whistling. Let's see what the vacuum pump's doing. We are down to 200 microns according to that gauge, although I've not zeroed it, so probably ought to zero it and see how it what it levels out at. It's actually gone up. Just shut the tap on the core remover. It's coming down. I'll leave it for a bit and I'll zero the gauge. Okay, got the drawers back in. They don't run very well, but there's no proper bearings on these or anything. The runners, I had them in there wrong. They actually have to slope, so you don't put them in level like the shelves. The runners on the slides on the drawers are on a slope, so the back one's got to be, they've got an extra pair of holes on the back ones, and you have to put it on the lower one so that it glides down as it goes in. It's probably supposed to close under its own weight. Okay, just fired out 17 degrees, 90 grams, I think it's 230. That's what it needs. 230 grams, 134A. I'm putting it in as a vapour, it's easier to be accurate. 140. 230 grams. Might need a little squirt more because we've got some long hoses on there. Okay, it's down to 5. I think it was 17 or 19 when we turned it on. I don't know what it's set to. I think the buttons had it. But I don't need to adjust that, so you don't want to spend too much money. It's only open a few days a week at the moment, so just getting it going as cheap as possible really. Okay, that's, oh, it's just turned off, minus 2. I was going to say, I don't know what they normally have it set on. I wouldn't have thought something like this would go down to minus 2. Probably 0 to plus 2 would be more likely. But they were probably been setting it lower, trying to get it to work. So we might have a look, see what we can do with that button, if we can get that working again. So I did one the other day, and it's got this cover comes off. it's got a rubber membrane behind, and the plastic bit pushes the rubber piece, which pushes the little push button on the circuit board. And where somebody's been pushing it too much, they'd push the piece of rubber all the way around out the way, so it weren't touching the button. But you need to be able to press the set button to get into the programming menu to alter the set point. And I'm pretty sure this will probably be 0 to +2 would be the factory setting, something like that, even +2 to +4. So when keeping things like butter and spread in there, you wouldn't want spread at -2 because it's going to be solid. Okay, the cover's just popped off, it's not even on there properly, but you can see where that rubber piece is completely missing. So I think I'll check with the customer and see what they want to get it set to. But I've just poked a screwdriver in there, and you can push the button in if you're very careful. If you want to adjust it, and then it's just these two buttons. Right, the spec on these, I've just looked online, is -2 to +5, so I'm just going to check what they want it set on. But yeah, -2 seems pretty cold for just spreads and things like that.